Hello, beauties and book readers. Welcome to the first episode of, I don't know what to call this, Kunaka Reads, Reading with Kunaka. This is my first book tube video. I didn't want to create a separate channel. I want to keep everything under one umbrella because we don't want to burn ourselves out. So if you end up following me because of my books and stuff like that, book recommendations, I will be doing a video once a month. My goal is to read one book a month. So that means it'll be 12 videos. If I can manage 2, then it'll be 2 videos because I'll be talking about the books. The reason why I want to get back into reading, and I remembered it's my happy place. Growing up, I read a lot of fantasy, a lot of everything. I was a librarian from like grade 3 since I was like 10 and till I was like 16, I was a librarian at school. And of course, my first job was at a bookshop, second job at a bigger bookshop, and everything just aligned. And actually I was like actually smiling when my person was like, oh, maybe you should open a little bookshop. I said, actually that is a cute little independent bookshop. Sounds cute. And then because he was like, yeah, and then you could be there working and you have good internet and you can still edit your videos and do your other work and still run a little bookstore. I said, that is so cute. I need to find a location for that. And then I saw this cutest lady who also has this moving bookstore, like this van, and it's pink. And I was like, also that. So yeah, I am actually definitely thinking about that. A bookstore that has books, nice books, of course the trending books. But this year I am going to be only reading books written by Black authors, mainly. 90% of my books this year will be books written by Black authors, because growing up, even though I read a lot, we never had a lot of representation, and representation matters. I never had a book where I could connect with the character because I was not blonde hair or blue-eyed. I was not, which made it harder to connect with the characters. When now I'm loving all these books by all these Black authors. I've started with female Black authors, and I can connect with the characters. I can understand how it takes long to wash your hair and stuff like that, and the stuff that we have to deal with. My first book that I read from a Black female author, a fantasy book, because I'm a fantasy person first and foremost. Like the others I've read are like autobiographies, Viola Davis, Michelle Obama. I love the Viola Davis book. That book changed my life, actually. That book changed my life. I'm going to do a video about books that actually changed my life and perspective. And one of those books was Viola Davis's Finding Me. That's my favorite autobiography, and I've never liked autobiographies, never cared for them. But her book, it helped me find me in the process of reading about how she found herself. And I love it. So welcome to the first book video. I am doing books that I'll be reading for 2025. Yay! I'm super excited. And I have so far bought 6 books, and I've finished already 2 books, Legend Born and Blood Marked. Beautiful. Those are the first books that I read, fantasy books written by a Black female author. It's about a girl who finds out that she has these powers and can see magical things, and finds out her lineage is rooted to Camelot. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but my jaw was on the floor. Legendborn, Bloodmarked, if you have not read them, read these books. Read them. They healed my inner child. Like, I didn't realize my inner child needed that healing until I read that book. I was like, this is what I wanted to read as a kid 20 years ago. That is what I wanted to read. And I wish I had read that 20 years ago. But I digress. Let me show you the books we'll be reading for For 2025, one book a month. If I can read more than that, I am going to pat myself on the back. I want to dedicate an hour every day, which is why I decided to do my fitness stuff in the morning. So in the afternoons, 5 to 6, I use that to read my book, an hour of reading every day. So let me introduce you to the bookies. Voila. We have 6 unread books, but I am currently right now reading Immortal Dark. Black Vampires. So beautiful. Ethiopian American author or Canadian. Oh gosh. Anyway, that book is really good. If you're into vampires, I love that. Like, I love the book. Like, it's more than just vampires. It's also like, I feel like it talks a lot about dealing with anger. But I will leave that for when I finish reading the book and I do a little read. But let's start with my bookies. First, I have Let Them Burn. Here we go. So Let Them Burn, Camilla Cole. She's a Jamaican author. And I'm excited to read this. I had to get a little summary because I don't want to get things wrong. So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole is a Jamaican-inspired fantasy novel that follows the story of Farron Vincent, a young heroine blessed with the power of the gods. 5 years ago, Farron used her divine magic to liberate her island from the dragon-riding Langley Empire. Now at 17, she finds herself without wars to fight and is seen as both a legend and nuisance. So, I'm like, dragons. You had me at dragons. The plot begins when Farron is forced to attend an international peace summit where her older sister, Elara, forms an unprecedented bond with an enemy dragon. The gods declare that the only way to break that bond is to kill Elara. Ooh! Scandalous. Desperate to find another solution, Farron embarks on a dark path while Elara uncovers shocking secrets about the Langley Empire. Both sisters must make difficult choices that will shape their lives and fate of their world. Super excited to read this. I'm probably going to put it as February's book to read. Next, we have The Blood Trails. I've heard so many good things about this book. The Blood Trails by N.E. Davenport. It also has a book 2 as well. It's science fiction fantasy and Black female author. And yeah, I'm excited to read this as well. I'm just going to read the blurb because, yeah, that's how you're going to know what it's about a bit. It's all about blood. Blood trail, of course. The blood spilled between the Republic of Marion and the armies of the Blood Empire long ago. The blood that runs through the elite war houses of Marion and the rulers of the tribunal dedicated to keeping the Republic alive. Ooh, sounds scandalous. The blood of the former Legatus commander, Vernie Amari, murdered for his granddaughter, Akina. The only thing steady in her life was the man who had saved Marine, the man who had trained her not just in mortal skills but in harnessing the blood gift that coursed through her, who trained her to keep that secret. Ooh, so it's giving like revenge, assassination, murder, blood. Wow. Actually, because I've heard such good things about it, I'm excited to read it. I'm going to make it my March book, actually. Let me actually just categorize these books. Next, I went to Exclusive Books here in Cape Town, and I was like, oh, do you have Cinderella is Dead? And the bookkeeper guy was like, huh? I said, Cinderella is dead. He said, that's very morbid. I said, well, I'm looking for the book. And he was like, wow, that is so dark. What do you mean? And it's by Kaylin Barron. Yes, Queen. So it says here, it's 200 years since Cinderella found her prince, but the fairy tale is over. Sophia knows the story though, off by heart, because every girl has to recite it daily, from when she was tiny until the night she's sent to the royal ball for choosing. And every girl knows that she has only one chance. For the lives of those not chosen by a man at the ball are forfeit. But Sophia doesn't want to be chosen. She doesn't want to go to the ball at all. Not when she's afraid the girl she loves might be chosen too. Oh, love it. Love plot twist. Pushed beyond breaking by a society that denies everything she is, Sophia sets out on a journey that will remake her world into one where she gets to choose. Clearly, these big letters are not for me. I'm excited to read this. I've also been seeing good things about this book. And one thing I've decided to do, I'm keeping all my first edition books. Because do you know how much some of those Harry Potter first edition books cost now? And I let my suitcase with those books get lost at a boarding house? Cry for me. Next, I got these. I actually found all these authors on Twitter. And I was like, yes, I want to stay on book side of X. Thank you. With all the Black female authors, I'm like, let me just stay on that side. I want to see the books. I don't care about scandals and things that don't serve me or feed my soul. I want books. Next, we have 2 books I got by Britney S Lewis. The first one is The Undead Truth of Us. It says, death is everywhere. They all stared at me, bumping into one another and slowly coming forward. So, says 16-year-old Sari Young is absolutely certain her mother morphed into a zombie before her untimely death, but she can't seem to figure out why her mother died, why her aunt doesn't want her around, why all her dreams seem suddenly hopeless and out of reach, and why ever since that day she's been seeing zombies everywhere. Then Bo moves into her apartment building, tall, skateboard in hand, freckles like stars, and an undeniable charm. Z wants nothing to do with him, and when he transforms into a half zombie right before her eyes, something feels different. He contradicts everything she thought she knew about monsters, as she can't help but wonder if getting to know him might unlock the answer to her mother's death. Wow. I'm excited to read her. That's exciting. Zombies. And then next I have another book of hers, The Dark Place. And so every secret comes to haunt you. I actually love the cover as well. I'm looking forward to Comic-Con because Comic-Con, I think I'm going to be going as some of these characters, actually. 17-year-old Hayley Williams didn't ask to disappear. She didn't ask to move from Kansas City, Kansas, out to the suburbs in Missouri, but she did disappear. And not only that, when she vanished from our world, she materialized in the dark, twisted version of the night that changed her life forever, the night her older brother went missing. Just as Hayley realizes this moment could offer a chance to unravel the truth about her brother, she's yanked away from the dark place back to our world. Craving a sense of normalcy, she goes to a party with her best friend where she meets Iliam Rhodes, tall, handsome, and undeniably and explicitly familiar. Hayley can't help the pull she feels towards him. It's a classic girl meets boy situation until it happens again. She disappears right in front of him. Together, Hayley and Liam investigate the truth about time, space, and reality. With Hayley increasingly convinced her time travel holds the key to saving her brother. But the more they learn, the more Hayley begins to see the darkness luring in her world and in herself, combining the quotable relatability, Sweeney romance, and emotional resonance of John Green with the surrealist horror imagery and razor-sharp wit of Jordan Peele. Britney S. Ooh, cute. Is this gonna be cute? Should I keep it for Halloween month? Maybe, I don't know. Last but not least, I found her on Twitter. She's the one who started all of this. Because I found her on Twitter, there was Twitter beef about a book that she wrote about sun powers. And some girl was like, you stole my idea. She's like, how did I steal your idea when you haven't even written anything? It was scandalous. I was like, I'm here for the author scandals of Twitter, because what do you mean, girl? Like, somebody stole your idea that somebody has powers from the sun? Superman gets recharged by the sun. This anyway, child. It's called His Dark Reflection, by marvelous Michelle Anson. And yeah, love, secrets, murder. Mott was keeping secrets when she married Jack. So was he. When the single shot that takes their son's life blows open all they've kept hidden, they have to face their worst nightmares alone. Their daughter, Ara, remembers one thing from the night her brother was killed. She knows who pulled the trigger. She knows Mott is sleeping in the same bed as the man who killed her child. Ooh! She knows something is off with the man pretending to be her father, and she will get her revenge. Actually, yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for all of them, actually. And I feel like when I open that bookshop one day, I'll first be stocking up all these Black Queens books in my bookstore. It'll be first and foremost books by Black authors, and then the rest. And stuff. So I'm super excited for 2025 and the books we're going to be reading. And for my first booktube video, I'm not here just to be reading nonsense and just reading it just to get content out. I'm going to be intentionally reading. I loved reading as a kid, so this is also healing for my inner child. So it means more to me than just following what everybody's reading and skim reading. I'm going to read at my pace. I'm going to give my honest feedback, because my journey of reading again is to heal my inner child and that girl that I lost years ago, who loved to read and then became an adult, and the adult world swallowed her whole and she lost herself. And now we are finding ourselves and digging ourselves out from adulthood and creating our own version and perception of adulthood. So, because I mentioned it a few times, but when I was a kid, I really wanted to be an author because I read a lot. Of course, with that, you also want to be a writer and write a book. And I did write a book when I was 12, and I finished it when I was 14. I hand wrote it. I wish I had typed it. But anyway, all I have is a handful of regrets right now when it comes to that. And now I lost that book that I wrote. And I made my friends read it, and I had my friends help me with the research. It was a book I wrote because I was kind of like, I feel like we don't have enough representation. And I wrote something that would give representation. I wish I grew up in a household with like super supportive parents, because then maybe I'd been able to say, hey, I wrote a book. Maybe that book would have been published and I would have been, one of those young Black kid authors, and then see where we are now in our 30s. But that book will always have a place in my heart. And I actually remember what it was about. It was a young adult book. It was about a girl who was half elf, half witch, and she had to go to an academy to learn how to control her powers as a witch, because, and how living in two different worlds of being an elf and a witch, having like an elf with all these powers, and elves also live long and stuff like that. And and also her like understanding feelings and finding love and navigating that world and navigating parents, I guess. And a lot of it also, I did a lot of research on Egyptian mythology and Egyptian gods, so I also use that as a lot of my inspo and inspiration for it as well. Like the Egyptian gods, Egyptian mythology and stuff like that, because I wanted to be something like from Africa, but like merging two worlds, I guess. I wish I could, I actually, as much as I wish I had typed out that book and kept it somewhere on a disc for me to actually sit down and read now and be like, wow, I know I probably could have taken it and refined it as an older version and done extra, like that was like the foundation, and I could have built a house. But also I'm telling myself, but like that foundation is still in your head. Maybe it's now from a different viewpoint, I guess. I still do want to write. Yeah, I've been motivated. I've been told I should write like self-care, like books self-helpish books, but not like self-helpish, but like just talking about like certain aspects in life as like a Black woman, African things, and just talking about those things, because I feel like there's other people who maybe feel alone, and maybe if they read that book they'll feel less alone. I've also been writing little like poems, and my grandfather's a published poet, and we live in such a different world with so much opportunity and so much that we can do. But yeah, I'm excited to read these books. I'm excited to give all my feedback on the books I read. I am gonna be buying more and adding to the collection as we go. And yeah, maybe next year I'll be recording this video for my little bookshop somewhere in Cape Town with this little matcha cafe, because only matcha and my favorite treats like a cookie croissant and pasta de natas and stuff like that. But yeah, so welcome to episode 1, season 1 of Reading with Kunaka. I think that's Reading with Kunaka. And I look forward to seeing you when I finally finish Immortal Dark and give my little review. I've been resisting writing in my books. I used to be that person with a highlighter writing. So I think I should actually get those little sticky thingies and like just put like little things like to mark the pages that I liked, and just write down my favorite parts in the page in a book reading journal or something. And that way when I do a review I can be like, and on page whatever, this is what happened. But looking forward to seeing you in the next video. This video is way too long, so much yapping, but if you made it to the end, I appreciate you. And yeah, see you in the next video.